To
Hello.
this month's Cosmic Chat. We have the Capricorn Full Moon. I'm Amalia Natalio here with Madeline Parker, and we are excited to be with you this afternoon and share some interesting information coming up this moon cycle. And I feel like we've been in this very transformational period of time. It's like we're always transforming, we're always growing. I think we can start every one of our chats that way. But what I feel kind of inclined to share about this one being a little bit special is that the first new moon of 2024 was a Capricorn new moon. Now we're having the Capricorn full moon. So we have that 6-month cycle where you can revisit your intentions from January of this year, kind of the start of this calendar year. And I had offered a ritual for folks back in January. If you're on my email list, I wrote that up for you. And then if you were on the Cosmic Chat, you probably caught my invitation for this ritual where you would sit in meditation, ask for some guidance, tune into yourself, get some information as to what you would like to create in this year, and then write it down. And then the invitation was to take a stone of any kind and write a symbol. Ask for a symbol that every time you look at that stone, it will remind you of the intention without you looking at a list. Because I feel like, lists and goals are great. I feel like they really are important. And for some things, it's important for you to look at, these are the things I have to do today. These are the tasks that are important. But sometimes we have to let go of that focus a little bit, like loosen our grip on what it is we desire and just allow it to unfold. So I'm going to share with you. So Misha and I did this, and I'm going to share with you I just think it'd be fun for everyone to see what it looked like. So I put this on, I have a couple of altars in my house, but this is what it looked like. So mine is over here on the left and Misha's is over here on the right. And we both drew a symbol on our stones, and on the paper here is what our intentions were. So for this Capricorn full moon, unfortunately, he's got a wedding, he's got a gig. And fortunately, my daughter's going to be in town. So we're not going to be able to do a ritual together like we normally would. We're going to do it a couple days later. But opening up those papers together and seeing what has come to pass and what hasn't. And what I think is so fun about this is that you can also, because of this energy of this moon, which Madeline and I will both be talking about here shortly, you'll have an opportunity to shift. And because of the energy of this moon, there might be a change of your plan. What was important to you in January may not be as important now. You might have different emotions or feelings around it. There might be something you felt really strongly about that really isn't important to you anymore. So I feel like this is such a potent time if you take the time to look at your life in a more of a holistic frame. And we've got some aspects that I'm just going to touch on ever so briefly for this full moon. So Capricorn's an earth sign. The moon is in Capricorn. The sun is in Cancer. Cancer is a water sign. So we have a lot of feminine energy. This is a lot of felt sensory experience. Capricorn, though, does have a lot to do with the physical world, like creating things, creating structure for your life. You need discipline. Oftentimes, as a Capricorn motto, hard work. Those are kind of the feelings around Capricorn. But we're really leaning into how we are emotionally connected to what it is that we're moving towards. The full moon is going to be happening, depending on where you live, but on the East Coast, 9:07 p.m. on June 21st. And I want to bring up the body parts too. And the reason why is because I've been noticing as we approach this full moon that my back and joints have been really activated. And so if you notice that for yourself, and what that tells me is, where am I maybe being inflexible? what am I doing in my life that's not actually allowing me to move forward? And I was telling Madeline before we went live, I feel like I'm getting in my own way. So I'm observing myself, not doing the things I need to be doing, and then giving myself kind of a little bit of a hard time about it, but then still not doing anything about it. So I don't know if anybody else can relate to that. Madeline said she had some interesting facts to share or insights to share on that as well. Do you want to share a little bit about that, Madeline,
Well,
since we're on the topic?
yes, because this full moon is happening at the Mula Nakshatra, which is a Ketu Nakshatra, and it's one of the more challenging nakshatras where you get in your own way, and it's basically all about that, and it's about how we cause our own self-destruction. It is a very spiritual nakshatra, which I'll go more into, but it was interesting when I heard you say that, because I was just reading about the nakshatra and I was like going, wait, what did you just say?
Yes. Well, and the thing too, for those who aren't familiar with Ketu is the south node. It's where you've come from, where you've been, those overdeveloped qualities, where Rahu or your north node it's where you're going. It's what the qualities you are looking to step into. So, this, as Madeline was saying, is probably stuff that's old, that it's time to do it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm noticing is the discipline for me in my life to really stay focused on those things that I know that I need to be doing. So a few aspects that I know Madeline's going to talk about, but I also just want to mention them because I feel like this connects to the ritual I was sharing earlier. So we have three oppositions to the moon. So obviously the sun and the moon are always opposite each other at every full moon, but there's also Mercury and Venus opposing the moon. So, kind of the overarching theme of this is when you have the sun and the moon opposed, you've got feelings and emotions that might be at odds with your ego self. The moon and Mercury opposing each other, it may lead to a feeling like you may not understand feelings that are coming up or be able to communicate them clearly. And I'm just giving very brief, very, very simplistic viewpoints on this because Madeline's going to dive in more deeply, but I just want to give everyone a basic framework. And then the moon and Venus opposing each other, there could be some confusion around your feelings or needs. And then we also have a moon square Neptune. So this may push you to explore spiritual or esoteric aspects to clear up some confusion. Like you might have a curiosity that you didn't have before. And then we also have a trine to Mars, which is an energy of compromise and solution. So the overarching theme, I feel like, is that there will be a lot of emotions that are coming up, feelings about maybe the things that you started in January. There may be a little bit of confusion and the Neptune aspect is going to push you to look into spiritual solutions versus, more the logical ones. And then Mars is going to bring a little bit of that action-oriented energy to the process. But all of this it's not necessarily time to go too crazy now because you may not be seeing things totally clearly. So it's like, take this information in, let it settle. And as the weeks progress, things will become more and more clear. And then we'll notice too, with the next moon cycle, there'll be a little bit more information. So more unfolding to be had. So that is the general gist of what I'm seeing in the stars. And I feel like Madeline, as always, expands so beautifully to give us the nitty gritty,
Like
push up your sleeves, like pull up your pants, and let's go into it. So,
well,
Madeline,
I'm going to show everyone what you are talking about because it's right here in the diagram here. I shall share. So I do just quickly want to look at the card that refers to this, the tarot card, which is, let me grab that screen. Here it is. So this is going to happen at 107 Capricorn, and the card for it is going to be the
Hey, Madeline, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but all we can see is like the very header, top header. There we go. Now we can
Okay,
see
good.
all of the screen.
Okay, so yeah, so I was just gonna do one little quick thing here. I'll switch over.
Okay.
This image, I'm just gonna show everyone. So
Perfect.
so this is interesting because it is the Two of Pentacles, which is a Jupiter energy, but this Two of Pentacles in Capricorn. So that just brings us to the energy of, and it's a pentacle. So we're figuring out how to ground something, how to bring the two worlds together. So we've got that Cancer Capricorn access polarity, which is a cardinal. And usually cardinals, anybody with planets around these degrees are always finding their lives changing in winter solstice or summer solstice. My life always changes on those 2 points every year. So for a lot of people, for a lot of cardinals, if you have the lower degree cardinals, you're going to have life, it's all life changing. This cardinal full moons and new moons are seasonal shifts in your lives. They cause shifts, more so if you're a cardinal dominant chart. But even if you are not cardinal dominant in those areas that you're having the polarity of Cancer, Capricorn, you're going to see seasonal shifts in that part of your chart, in that part of your life. So there were in 2020, we had an eclipse at 0 degrees in June, Cancer. And then in 2023, December, 2022, we have a 0 degrees new moon in Capricorn. So we're having like this at these lower degrees, which indicates huge beginnings, like you know, the onset of a new path. So now we're at 1 degree, but anyway, we're on this new cycle. And so the whole energy of Capricorn is about hard work, discipline, and getting to the top. And why? It's so it can create security for the 4th house. So like the more you work at your 10th house, your career, the more money you have for your 4th house, the more expensive a house you can afford is sort of one of the concepts. But basically, the Capricorn energy is getting to the top, trying to get to the top. So it secures an emotional base. Now, the Capricorn is trying to get to the top of the mountain. And the problem with the journey there is that what the top of the mountain is to find God, really, which is to find that your security is not based on your hard work, but that your security is based on your enlightenment and your connection to yourself and spirituality. So this is one of these points in the chart where we all have to let something go that we're holding on to out of a toxic illusion that it's our security, and we work hard at it. We're controlling around this area in our chart. So control issues pop up. You know, if you're in fear-based, you're going to make karmic type choices. That's what Capricorn is. So in other words, you don't believe in the spiritual presence that secures you. So you think it's all based on your hard work. So it's fear-based hard work, which is karma, causes karma. So basically we're releasing a past karmic debt, through a spiritual, and I think you touched on it when you said it's a spiritual solution. So it's like, we're breaking away from some sort of karmic fear, some sort of karmic pattern that started on that new moon. I know when it started for me, where I really start to get these lessons and Saturn is our spiritual teacher, and this is a Saturn-based full moon, and Saturn is our spiritual teacher, and he teaches us through not letting you have it, so that
People love that.
Yeah, so that you learn that having that isn't what you think. You're under an illusion that having that is going to be an answer. It's going to either fill up your emptiness or fill up your, you know, and actually what is the solution is having the experience of having it already within you, so that you're not acting karmically outside of you. So in other words, the solution is within, and what you think you're going to get on the outside isn't going to do what you think you need, or it's not going to fill that empty. It's not going to create that sense of security. So it's sort of like going within to get to have it and have a completion. And it's interesting because I've been doing this in many readings. It's like we're dissolving an attachment to something and discovering that wasn't going to be the answer. The answer is going to be that we already feel the illusion that we thought was in that. In other words, we can cultivate that experience within us through spiritual connections, connection to the divine. This is K2. K2 is very spiritual, the South Node, because what's happening is you're letting go of a material attachment and you're trusting in God. You're trusting in you're ending the struggle. You're letting go of the struggle because that's where you cause all the problems in your life.
So true.
I mean, if you're like flaring around, you're hitting things, knocking things, so you're stopping that and you're going and cultivating the experience that you think is outside of you, within you. And so we're on that evolutionary path of discovering the balance between the fourth house and the fourth and the 10th, the Capricorn and Cancer, which is the emotional stability, because the feminine energy is the faith restorative. So it's through staying connected to the faith that you release the control that creates the karma. And so on this path, the Capricorn Cancer, your emotional, because what happens is the emotion gets in fear based, so it overdoes the Capricorn. Whatever your polarity is, you're going to do the opposite negative when you're in fear based. So like Cancer in fear based is going to overwork hard, but everybody's going to do that in their Capricorn house. When they're in fear based, they're going to over try, they're going to work too hard in that area, and they're going to push it away. And then they get mad at they blame the other person when they're not seeing that energetically they're creating karma because they're trying to make something happen that wasn't divinely in alignment. So we're going to be talking about where everybody has Capricorn over their house, because that's where we create karma. And that's where we're here to learn to let karma go, or to clear our karma, which just really means cycles of patterns of behavior that are fear-based and not aligning with the divine. So we're going to constantly hit a roadblock or some kind of upset or a pain, or, cycles of hell.
One of
our own hell, how we create our own hell, basically. Like kind of what you were saying.
Well, it's interesting. I was looking back at my notes from the Capricorn new moon on January 11th of 2024. And one of the key themes you mentioned again today was letting go.
Mm-hmm.
Letting go and then trust. I mean, I feel like that could be said pretty much every day of our lives. Let go and trust. But this leads you to step into your mission, into your divine mission. So I would encourage people to feel into that for a moment too, because that to me lines up with what you were saying, Madeline, about not pushing so hard towards what it is you think. It's really what is already present for you there.
Yeah.
What's showing up for you. I actually recorded a video last week that I haven't posted yet about that, about how I had this vision of what, so with Misha and I saw how we were going to play out. I knew it. But then I realized, while it still played out with a general energetic of the two of us working together, it did not show up the way I thought it was. And I was holding on so tightly to how I thought it was supposed to be. And then instead of just allowing life to unfold, I think it would have unfolded faster or more easily for me internally had I let go and just trusted that process. And I think for those of us who have, and we all have this ability, but for those of us who are accessing and trusting in abilities to see, what's coming, or be able to see the energy of what we're experiencing, it can get tricky because our ego mind wants to show us one thing when really our soul is attempting to go oftentimes a different way. So how would do you feel like that's a similar message this moon cycle, Madeline?
Yes, because this is very connected to that eclipse, and that eclipse was all about that because it had Mercury in it. So it was like that eclipse was very much about where we are in our heads opposed to where we are divinely intended. There's a clash between the ego and the soul. It's just a little bit different in the sense that, but again, it's similar because we've got Mercury. This is very connected to that eclipse because we're going to have in this thingy we had in this full moon thingy.
So do you mean the eclipse in April?
Yes, the
Okay, April 8th.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that was 19 degrees of Aries squaring the cardinal houses. So all cardinals are really still, plus Saturn is at 19 degrees, which is at that same degree. So it's ruling this full moon. And then we have Mercury really, 9 degrees. I think Mercury's out of combustion at 11 degrees, but kind of close there to the sun. So Mercury is very much a part of the story, and Mercury is squaring the nose exact, which means we are being made sure we're on the right path. So this is absolutely continuing that theme. Now, the reason the let go is so important on these Capricorn lunations is this is the cardinal. Because what happens is it's stronger on the if you can, that's the area in your chart you're going to have most challenge letting go. Wherever you have Capricorn, it's going to be the hardest work. And you think you let go, you think you've done it, and you haven't. Every time a lunation like this comes around, you have to let go on another level. And you're just like, whoa, I thought I let go. And letting go comes with grief. There's always a little period of dropping in your grief. That's how you know you've really let go, is that you go through grief. And then on the other side of it, you're liberated, because this is a liberation full moon. These full moons are trying to liberate us from our karmic cycles. And how we do that is we let go of trying to control the story, and we ask God for the story, or your divine, or you ask your higher self, or go within you, in the sense that it's an illusional lie that something, Capricorn is showing you where you think you're God. You have some sort of delusional idea that you can be God in this area and make this way and do it this and this time, da da da. And that's a Capricornian shadow aspect. And this is a shadow, K2, a shadow planet. So we're working with our shadow side, which is not pretty. It's fear-based. So, this full moon might be a challenge in that department, in that way, because we're furthering along our development. So it sort of just depends on whether you're conscious aware. The more conscious aware you are that this is a pattern of attachment and fear-based that shows up, is so that you have a spiritual transformation. You're right. There are always transformations. That's what this is all about. We're here to transform. We're here to become more enlightened. So this is an enlightened, we become more enlightened. We're less heavy, even though it's a heavy full moon. So we're coming into contact with a heaviness that's dragging us down. And then we're becoming more enlightened, more spiritual, releasing, letting go, saying, okay, I surrender, I let go. Dissolved. We're having 0 degrees. It's 1 degree where this is a new path, where we're letting go of the old path, stepping into a new path, so that we can now have a fresh experience without the karma. So that's what this full moon is. It's saying, are you ready for the true experience divine wants to give you here? Or are you gonna keep your head down, focused on the dirt? Because if you look up, you're following Jupiter. You look down, you're being oppressed by Saturn. You get oppressed. So if you're looking down, you're getting, Saturn is oppressing you. So that's why astrology is so important, because we're looking up at the stars. And now we're in alignment with the will of the universe, rather than our will going, aligning with some sort of ego and karmic and matrixy type of a thing, and security based. So it's like, you can start looking up now and not feel this heavy weight, and that is free will choice. So we all individually choose that. And if you're watching astrology videos, you're looking up, and actually that's the solution to our abundance, is to connect, because Capricorn, when it wakes up to the spiritual union that it needs to make, which is that its abundance is created through co-creation rather than solo creation. It's all you're the God. And a lot of Capricorns are high manifestors. They're very powerful manifestors, and they think it's all them and it's their hard work, and that they did it because they worked so hard, but actually, no, there was other, stuff involved, other energies, and the universe was part of the story. So then sometimes a Capricorn will hit a wall because they think that it's just their hard work. They're not checking that they're in alignment with spirit. So it's a division of the emotional, intuitive, and so that's Capricorn, Cancer, intuitive, emotional, working together then brings you in alignment, because the inner feminine, that's what I was getting into, is connected to spirit. So it's connected to faith. So it has constant restoration of faith constantly, because they have, like what we do, we're women that uses astrology and cars and things like that, which gives us faith restorative practices, which then we can use to not be in fear-based Capricorn energy. We use it as, we just keep going, because Capricorn in its positive is unrelenting. And so it achieves. And a Capricorn is, you win in the long run. Capricorn is victory through the consistent. And then Saturn is in Pisces. It's about to go retrograde. It's right now during this full moon. It's like really stationary, about to go retrograde. So it's like the sun on this full moon is going to stay. It's I don't know what in the astronomy, it like doesn't move for like 3 days. Saturn isn't going to be moving for like a while, a week. It's just stuck here at 19 degrees. And now it's going to go retrograde at the end of the month. I mean, it's wild. So it's almost like Saturn's in here, it's trining. Saturn isn't really doing anything, actually. Really, the MC doesn't matter. Saturn is weird. Saturn's not really got any angles here on this. So it's kind of like it's just sitting there watching everybody.
I have a Vedic astrologer friend who always says Saturn, I want to make sure I get this correct. Saturn may delay, but does not deny. So It's like whatever is coming up, like you said, Saturn's not moving. The sun is staying put.
Yeah.
So there's this bit of a delay. You're not able to really move towards those Capricornian goals, perhaps, but they're all there. And we review them because if it's retrograding, Saturn's retrograding, there might be a time for some review before.
Well, yeah, very good. But actually, when Saturn goes in, when planets go into retrograde and stationary, they have very, very powerful effect, because that energy so they're more effective in retrograde. It's closer, it's coming closer, it's more powerful. Yes, it makes you back and redo things, but also it's a very positive. Saturn always goes retrograde every year, and it really does integrate important lessons. And then it has a really effectivity, like it's effective in our lives. It's causing, and it's not combust. So Saturn's in I don't know what people think about Saturn being in Pisces, but in Vedic, it's in Aquarius, so it's a little stronger. But Saturn in Pisces, it's interesting because it's really asking that we ground. That's the energy of Saturn, Capricorn, Pisces, water. It's grounding the higher dimension and giving it structure, making it real, making it practical, making it usable. So it's like, how do we clarify this practical, new, foundational abundance, but this is very spiritual, because where Saturn is extremely spiritual. So it's a lie, because true abundance is in the marriage of the spiritual and the material. So Saturn is making sure that we are abundant by aligning spiritually with this new direction, which means we're motivating out of faith. Jupiter, it's ruled by Jupiter, Pisces, which is in faith. So it's like, where are we, can we have a spiritual faith in the reason to keep going, because the goat keeps going because it wants to get to the top of the hill. Eventually it loves the journey, but shall we say, Saturn is making sure if to get to that enlightened top of the hill, you've got to do it the right way. It means being spiritually in alignment. It's not just through hard work. So, and again, spirituality is not, it can be the arts, it can be body movement. It is basically anything where you're following your true calling. And that is really spiritual, because your true calling was, you had given a calling so that you would be it would fix the world in some way, your calling. So,
all right. So I feel like that's a pretty robust start. I feel like everyone got, for those who are watching live right now, I mean, dang, I hope that you took away some nuggets from just the beginning part of this before we even get into your personal astrology, and watch the replay for sure, because I feel like there's been some really potent transmissions of messaging between Madeline and myself since we got on the live
yeah.
today.
Before we do the 12 signs, the one thing I want to say is that the nodes are making sure we're on the right path, because the nodes are squaring Mercury, and Mercury was in that eclipse. So this is a continuation of something that now comes to fruition, that is in alignment with our true destiny, with what the eclipse was. So in other words, we're materializing that eclipse now. We're seeing what it was that we were going to start becoming material in the material realm. It's an earth energy. We're going to see it. You can bite it. It's like in real life.
Interesting. Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that in. And also we've got that sextile to Mars you mentioned. So whenever there's a sextile, if there's a those squares can show up in frustrations and challenges and not such great experiences. But whenever you see that sextile there, it's a way through and it's support. And not everybody has it hard. It just depends on your chart, or it goes really easy. It's actually going to be a nice one for me. I have all trines from it. So it's like, it's right on my ascendant. And my sun
that's good.
Yeah, my sun is 29 degrees Capricorn. So it's 1 degree, and it's on my descendant. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. But anyway, point being that Mars, there's always help in these things if something has, a challenging aspect. So there you go. So I will stop the share.
Awesome. I love it. So similarly to last time, I have a card for the overarching theme for this moon, and I think it's a good follow-up to all that you shared, Madeline, as well. And it's bee balm, which is activates hope, and the message is be still. And this is particularly potent if anyone has been through a traumatic event, and or if there's a major change coming up in their life. And I know a number of my clients are in that space. I am also in that space. All the cards that I've been doing, they all keep saying the same thing: transformation, rebirth, beginnings, endings. It's like the same thing on a loop. So bee balm, to me, it also reminds me a little bit of like a jester hat, and which then reminds me of the Fool card in tarot. So it's this beginning, the start of something new, and being able to spread take up space, spread out, be yourself. Don't feel like you need to contract, really just open yourself up to the possibilities, literally stand with your arms spread, all right, I'm ready to receive. Let's go. Let's bring all of the goodness in. And I'm willing to also give at the same time. It's not just about taking, it's also that give and take process. So that is the flower for everyone for this full moon.
Nice.
Bee balm.
All right.
Do we want to start with? Yeah, let's go.
All right, Aries, this full moon is in your 10th house of career. And then, you've got a lot of planets in that 4th house in the sign of Cancer. We've got Venus, Mercury, and the Sun in the sign of Cancer in your 4th house. So there's a lot of focus on your 4th house, family. What do you want for home, living? And then you've got the new moon there in your 10th house. So we've got some kind of new beginning in your career or status, because sometimes the 10th house can be marriage. So some Aries could get married. This, they're cardinals. So these are major times in their lives when they experience shifts, is usually around the middle of June 20, summer solstice. Again, this is a summer solstice. We didn't even go into that, which is where the sun is the highest in the air. And it is a new 6-month cycle where we're now closing the year out. So we're at the height of some sort of journey manifesting here in your 10th house, coming to fruition. And it's some kind of a new opportunity coming in with work as well. And this is a new, it's potentially, it could have been started at any of the previous new moons in Capricorn. It's hard to really pinpoint because some of these things that happen during these times are so insignificant at the time that you don't even notice. So, but this is a nice full moon. And guess what? This is a full moon now for Aries, because Aries have Capricorn over their 10th house. So they have a tendency to have karmic control or karmic issues around career and ego and what they think they should do. And so this is sort of like a present, because Saturn gives you a present when you learn a karmic lesson. When you quit a karmic pattern, you get kind of a present. So this is like a present for Capricorn, where it's like something where you tried in ego to be successful at and didn't because you were blocking it, or because you were coming at it from a fear base. This is another very important thing about Capricorn. If you're coming at it from fear base, doesn't mean that it's not your destiny. It means that you've just been blocking it because you're in fear and you're acting in blocking energies, right? Fear based. And this is a higher, abundant, spiritual, more divine manifestation. So you can only manifest it through in faith energies or relaxed or having given up. It's like that. You give up, forget it, and then it happens. Energy. So that's for Aries in their 10th house. So it's a nice new beginning for home and family, a lot of focus on family, causing a lot of home emotional security and career security for the long haul. Things that manifest or things that show up right now for everybody in this full moon, because full moon is the accumulation, the results, a gift of something, will last a long time and ripen as we go.
That sounds so dramatic and so like, I don't know, like
Yeah.
the ending of a movie or something. So we have the Redbird of Paradise for Aries. I love this for Aries because it kind of reminds me of Aries a bit, like that fiery, new beginning. There's like new sprouts of possibilities. The message is focus, get it done. You feel the passion, you feel that emotional excitement around something, and then being able to do it, to be able to bring it into reality, bring it to fruition effortlessly. So it's this effortless type of action with the Redbird of Paradise for Aries.
Yes, because that effortless means you're in the 8 frequency, which is effortless abundance, which means you're in 0 fear and you're working with the universe. Because effortless means you're working both in your masculine and your feminines in a relaxed, it's relaxed. So, the other thing I want to add is that these opportunities that are coming in for everyone because of Saturn, which is ruling this, which is about to go into retrograde, these most likely be opportunities from the past that you karmically blocked through what I explained. So just so you know, these could be now things coming in from the past, that because Saturn is where you have to deal with things that you haven't dealt with and you haven't been wanting to deal with. So when it goes in retrograde, you have to deal with certain things. So it's also projects from the past. You have to deal with some of the karmic issues that were involved in the problems around that. Okay. I'm just throwing that out there. I know, heavy, but we're going to get to the other side of it. So it'll be fine.
Yes. Good.
Yes. And by the way, it's always for our higher good.
Always, yes.
Always.
I feel like something you were saying before about security, and I think security ties very much into Taurus, which we're getting ready to talk about, is when I've noticed for myself that whenever I make a choice based on feeling a sense of security, which is super important to me, I feel so much better when I feel secure in whatever it is that I'm doing.
Right.
Some people don't. Some people don't need that. They don't feel any real connection to that, but I really do.
Right.
What I've noticed is, can I find a place of security within myself without necessarily feeling secure?
Yes.
And I know it's a small distinction, and almost feeling secure in that belief that everything is working out, that I can't make a mistake, that no matter what, I will have an experience that on some level my soul has created or wishes to have. And so I can find a place of security knowing that everything will work out in time, and I don't have any control over the timing of that. So I don't know if that'll help anyone. It doesn't mean it's easy, because I still feel that real need for the security, but I'm playing with this slightly different conceptual form of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, if you don't understand letting go and some of this, it's hard, but you just stop trying to control something. You know, you say, I can't control this. And then you just ask spirit to come in and show you how to get through it, and then just stay open and watch it work.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm doing that myself.
I know.
I'm a cardinal. I am very much, my sun is at 29 degrees, almost right there. It's right in between Capricorn and Sagittarius. And my ascendant is 0 degrees Cancer, right in between. So I absolutely will have a big change in this. And plus it's squaring my nose. I'm on a nodal square, which is a total course correction path shift. And it's all because of that eclipse.
Wow. So we won't even recognize you soon, Madeline.
I will have a whole new story to tell next time I see you, I'm sure. All right, so let's look at Gemini. So Gemini.
No, we didn't talk about Taurus.
Oh, did I skip Taurus? Hello.
Well, I sidetracked us by talking about security. So that's probably why you feel like we talked about Taurus. And that may connect to this a bit, but.
Well, yeah, Taurus and Cancer are kind of similar in that home thing and wanting security, and so Taurus is going to have this in their 3rd house. Well, that doesn't make sense, does it? We had Aries. It was in, yes, it is. That's right. So you guys are having this in your 3rd house, and the full moon is in your 9th. And so basically, because you guys have Capricorn over your 9th house, you are rigid thinkers. You have a propensity for karmic thinking and rigidity. And of course you have to have placements there that can make it stronger, but they tend to be like, so there's like some sort of karma around beliefs and spirituality and religions. And it's kind of like money is because it's in your 3rd house, so it's communication. So it's some sort of conflicts around beliefs, spirituality, and it's the macro versus the micro. So you've got some kind of karma there where you just take on your father's beliefs or your ancestor beliefs. You don't think, you just take on other, and you just think it's true, and you think it, and you don't open up to your own perspectives. So this is a time where you're starting to reap the karma from doing that, which is trying to control situations so they match your belief so that you can go forward with them. Because if they don't match your belief, then so it's kind of like, that's control fear-based, when what you have to do is open your mind and find truths and look for stuff that's true. So that's a karma journey for the Taurus. And so what they have to do is, in this full moon, is shattering. It can sometimes shatter a belief, and you wake up, and you realize that you've been on this karmic loop creating karma through rigid beliefs, rigid thinking. And so now you're clearing, but also you may have a career in this. Travel. So this opens you up to a divine story that wants to play out in your 9th house, which is spirituality and travel. And it's the explorer, the wanderer. So instead of having some sort of rigid belief, you go into the wanderer, into the explorer, and you learn. So this is the energy of learning something new, releasing rigid beliefs so that you can open something up for you. And this opens your life up. This full moon opens everybody's life up in this way. Somehow there's a gift in now your new awakening, in your new perspective. And so with Cancer over your 3rd house, you like to be busy with your family, a lot of short distance traveling around family, doing things for that month. and communicating and getting along with your family or people that around you that don't agree or see things. It's like you have to learn how to sort of hang out with, you have to learn how to be nice to people that don't agree with you, and it's not just about nice, maybe not judge them, so it's like opening up here to the people that are around you and accepting. Can be siblings, it can be neighbors. You can have a neighbor that is a politically opposite of you, but now you have an awakening, a spiritual awakening, that you have to you're just your fellow man wanting the same thing that you do in life, things like that. So what'd you get? Oh,
We have Euphrasia for Taurus, and Euphrasia is has to do with your intuition. So I love what you were saying about with this. It's like the rigid thinking. So it's getting out of the rigid thinking, going into a place of trusting yourself. This also dissolves self-doubt. So you're not doubting every decision you make. This allows you to be decisive, allows you to listen to your intuition, to access that higher wisdom, ninth house, that higher knowledge. And yeah, this just feels like a really nice card of support for trusting yourself, trusting the journey, trusting the universe, trusting kind of what we were talking about at the start of this, to trust how it's all unfolding, even if you don't feel secure. No, it'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, that is the message of this full moon, which is to trust the spiritual, intuitive, the inside of you. And, as a place to find a truth, because the ninth house is about the truth. And so there's some kind of revelation of a truth for Taurus rising that helps you. Well, if you look at those pictures again, the flower, like they're in the light. Something is revealed that puts you in the light.
And it's bright and happy too.
And that's what Capricorn is about. It's a spiritual, a waking up to spirituality, and that you don't have to do it all.
Yeah. It's much easier if we can accept that. Okay, Gemini.
You guys have this full moon in your 8th house. So that is a relationship house. It is joint resources. So it could be, now let's just say you had a new moon there and you're single and you invested in something. Now you bear the fruits. Maybe you get some nice dividends and rewards on a investment, or let's see, perhaps you sell a house and you now have extra money from that. It's outside money coming in, joint resources. Also a fear of controlling money and debt. There's going to be a lot of fear based with Capricorn over the 8th house, a lot of fear of debt, a lot of fear of not making it, a fear of taxes. You might get a nice tax return that you suddenly let go of this fear of trying to control all your money, everything. Like it's like you've got all these balls and investments and then the tax people come along and just kick it all up in the air, and you're like, everything goes to hell, but like you can't control it all. But now you start realizing, wow, things are now not all Capricorn effort is karmic. It's not all, but maybe you made some efforts, you made an investment, something is working out. You can let go and trust you're working with the universe. When you make investments and you're using astrology and your intuition. And by the way, astrology isn't outside of us. Astrology is to help us know. Like when you go to astrologer, you're not going outside of yourself. You're learning to know the truth of what's you can't comprehend is inside of you. And they put it in to help you be conscious, align with it. So that's what happens in these 8th house lunations. You're like, wow, I have this big, deep fear that I'm not really conscious of. Now it becomes conscious. It can just be that on this full moon. You become awake into a very deep, controlling issue, fear-based, and it's like, oh, I do that, yes, I do that, I'm guilty. I'm learning to let myself feel something, because sometimes you're running away from something you feel that's lower base and you don't want to feel it, but it's actually the universe saying, hey, watch out, listen to this feeling, And then usually that full moon comes in and reveals that, and you're like, whoa, I didn't listen to those feelings. I'm seeing it now. So that's for Gemini. But
All right.
Mercury planet is in the picture. So there is knowledge, information, communication coming in, course correcting. You know, I don't have to go through all that for every sign because we did it at the beginning. Okay, good.
That was a good conversation you
I
had.
said that really fast.
Okay, so we have nasturtium for a Gemini. And so nasturtium activates spontaneity. It spices up your life. But one of the keynotes that I just saw that I feel is so relevant to Gemini is also it will help them refine their unique way of being. I feel like Geminis are kind of these characters in our life story who are unique. You know, they have that dual-mindedness, and they can fit into this group, they can fit into that group, and so they have unique stories, they have unique beliefs, they have unique ideas about things. And so embracing that uniqueness of themselves, embracing who they are, and be aware of what lights you up, what emotionally do you feel some energy around, you know, and maybe do something different. Try something new, meet some new not meet some new people. What is it that I want to say? It's like just open yourself up to the possibilities that exist. You just you just don't know what you're going to find there. And this looks even very expansive, empowering. I love the oranges and the reds and the yellows of the flower.
Gemini can run and escape into their heads very much. And it's like Saturn is in their 10th house. So it's kind of like they run away from a spiritual truth in their head. And Saturn in the 10th house is probably sort of trying to shift them into a spiritual approach to their careers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, you know, I should talk about Saturn in everybody's house too, but you know, there's a lot to, I always think when I do these, I wonder what I'm going to say. Do I have enough to say? It's just like the Saturn,
Well, and I mean, today we've already been talking for almost an hour, and we're only at Cancer. I know the people who are hanging with us, it's like, they're probably like, okay, ladies.
for hanging in with us.
I know.
We're not like just waffling on, but suddenly all this clarity starts to come as I'm doing this too, that there's more, because the Saturn in the house that is transiting is a big part of this eclipse and on this full moon. So it's almost like Gemini have a hard time because they can always change their mind and think things different. So they don't know who they are. It's like, what's true, what's real, like that.
Yeah.
And so
this will hopefully give them some clarity. And
so okay, let's move on as we're spending so much time. Cancer.
yes, Cancer.
Okay. Your lives change on these full moons, no doubt about it. Your life will change. And it's very potential a relationship. So a relationship comes in. It can be business partnership, because I start many business partnerships and collaborations with people on these full moons. Like I probably met you on a Capricorn full moon, and then they last a while. And I have another woman I work with, and we do workshops, and I work at her retreats and stuff. And we met on a Capricorn new moon. So we're seeing, and I think it was that one that was at 0 degrees. So we're seeing some sort of fruition through a partnership, collaborative, or marriage partnership. So it can be romantic. Venus is in the picture here. Venus is right there next to Mercury, which can be money too. It can be abundant finances and good money. But for many Cancers, it's living, because you know all that home energy, and it's about making a new home. And often all these hit on me. I do have a whole new home. Like I guess on that, there was an eclipse at 0 degrees Cancer in June, was it 22, 21? Anyway, And it might have been early June, right when I literally, the North Node was there because it was an eclipse. Literally, I moved to Northern Idaho, and I didn't know I was moving here at the time. I was just coming up for the summer, but I haven't left. And then when I look back at that time, it was a full-on eclipse in my first house in the sign of Cancer, which is all about living, moving, home. So I found this sort of new home, and I sold my homes. Everything always happens on these eclipses, on these full moons in summer solstice. So Cancers are going to either a relationship comes into fruition, they let go of, you could be getting away from a karmic pattern in relationships and a karmic relationship, or a karmic business partnership is released. And now you are opening up to the way for a divine partnership, a divine relationship, a truly enlightened one. You're enlightened now because you learned from your karmic experiences and hitting the wall. So there's like some sort of a relationship that comes into fruition. Now these are fated, these are divinely intended things that open up during these times. And if you're not in a karmic fear-based attachment energy, they will open up and happen. And you can basically, we've cleared karma here. We're really starting a new cycle. We've cleared a lot of karma around this.
Well, we have pink spirea for
Yeah.
Cancer, and this flower is heart healing, which I love for a 7th house full moon. It activates laughter. It invites your inner child to come play. And I love that inner child play, or just even adult play in the summer. Like there's no better time for that, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And it also brings a feeling of being free yet supported. And
Yeah.
I also love that, particularly in terms of relationships. That's an ideal in my book.
Yeah.
I would like to be able to feel free yet supported. Know that I can live life in a way that feels good to me, but also know that my person is there when I need them, there to support me. I support them, like have this really beautiful connection, but also feel like I can be me. So I love the pink spirea for the Cancerian energy.
That doesn't define the release of attachment. I don't know what does. That card literally says and then it's like one person, because the Cancer and water signs have this problem in general. They mesh with their partners of water. So it's like that one is like you hold yourself whole to hold yourself and not enmesh with the person or try to control them or bleed into their side of the fence about just everything you said. That is literally the opposite of the Capricorn karmic attachment.
So it's the healthy version
Yes.
of
And
that.
it's the definition of that, because we look at what's not healthy, but it's really good to see and define what is the healthy picture look like.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yes. Thank you, card. All right. So now
Leo.
and then I guess Cancer have Saturn in their 9th house. So they're, obviously it depends if you have planets there, but teaching or learning is a big part of this, where you either start a course, teach a course, or travel as part of your career expansion, because this is all, Saturn is always about your career. Okay, so now we're going to go to Leo. So Leo have Capricorn over their 6th house. And so they're clearing a karma of how they treat themselves, what they do on a day-to-day basis that's self-destructive or not good for themselves. Like for instance, Cancer with this self-destructive, they're clearing what self-destructive patterns in relationships, right? That you were saying how you get in your own way. So Leos are healing what they do on a day-to-day basis. In other words, it can also not be necessarily illness or what they're doing to themselves, not taking care of themselves, but it can be a pattern that's karmic that they do because they think they should, which could be being very, very busy. They could be addicted to being busy, or they're addicted to their work because they think it's going to give them security. And so they just work really, really, really hard. It's it's the Virgo house. So it can be a little bit, they maybe push and they get frustrated, but maybe they're not connecting with the spiritual, with the way they can be guided to a more higher enlightened way of working. A lot of lot of sixth house stuff is to learn how not to be stressed in work. Frustrations, how to get over these frustrations, how to find calm and peace, how not to let your frustrations get in the way of yourself, cause frictions or enemies, because it's the sixth house. So with a full moon there, a work opportunity comes up, a day-to-day, something that could be a spiritual practice that comes up. But this is Capricorn, so it's usually hard work. It maybe an exercise program you're starting to take on. But it's going to be more enlightened about spiritual, learning, waking up to the importance of meditation, spiritual practices. Leos can get very headstrong, fire, so they have to learn how to chill, with that ninth house, sixth house placement.
So where's Saturn for Leos?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Saturn is hitting your eighth house. So and Saturn in the eighth house is not easy. I've had that recently. Saturn's in my ninth, so I had it there. So it can be karma. It can be like karma around joint resources. Usually when you have Saturn in the eighth, your partner isn't making very much money, or they go through a period where they're not. And then, but you. So in other words, you're kind of like finding discipline in that area, and maturing in matters of debt, joint resources, financing. By the end of this, you become responsible. It's like a responsible thing. So it's kind of like with that sixth house. And also fears, you're encountering financial fears with Saturn in that. So there's a spiritual solution going within you to create that security, that financial security. And then with that sixth house, you calm yourself down, so you're not just being busy because you're freaked out about money, or you're freaked out about what's going on. So you get really, really busy because that busy energy is an illusion that we're getting something done, because you might just be stirring things around in your house and you think you're really busy, or you're just doing busy, when if you can line up with your internal self, then you will be guided to the solution to the Saturn in the eighth. Hope that makes sense.
So I think it's so funny because I feel like Leos will feel better about everything that you just said when they see this card.
Good.
So we have the peony, and the peony activates magnetism, and the message is attract abundance. It reminds you not to overwork or overextend yourself. So it's that balance, the balance of anything in life.
Yes.
And part of that is having profound gratitude for the beauty of your life as it is.
Perfect card.
Yes.
I don't have anything to say.
The peony said it all. I just love this flower. It's like one of my favorite flowers. It's so pretty. So yeah, the peony for Leo.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because that busy thing, it's so fear-based sometimes, and it's like causes stress, or people are just addicted or just live in this busy stress mode because we just think we have to be there. And it's like it's the opposite. When you cannot do that, then you really can flow into the Saturn Pisces, the divine guidance.
But I feel like we're taught and programmed really at a very young age that that's how you become successful. That's how you reach your goals. Yep. And if you aren't, then you're lazy and you're not really committed to whatever it is you're looking to achieve. And I mean, I feel like there's a balance, because there can be, I notice myself sometimes where it's like, okay, it's time for me to rest and stop. But then if I stop for too long, it's hard for me to get back on track. And so like, I don't know if I'll do anything today, or well, I'll take this, I'll see this client, I'll do this thing, but the editing I needed to do, I'll skip it. I'll do it another day.
Well, it's interesting you're saying that because Saturn being in Pisces, Aries is the most action-oriented energy and Pisces is the least action-oriented. Pisces is lazy, but it's not. It's receptive. And how do you be receptive is by not doing anything. That's how you hear the universe, is by not doing. If you can sit through that busy, that desire, I mean, you get into spasmic jerks. But if you cannot do it, then you suddenly can hear the call, hear the voice of the universe speaking to you. And that's coming through not being busy, hermit card, being by yourself and not doing. And so you really make big connections about your destiny when you can do that, when you pull out of that busyness.
Right. And I think it is super important to have the balance, because you do need that
Action.
quiet for the rest receptivity, and then to take action, because you can be receptive and have all these grand ideas that you never do anything about, and that's not really moving you forward either. So it's that masculine, feminine, yin yang balance that's so important.
I just tend to observe that people are more on the busy side of that balance than they are on there's sometimes I tell people in a reading, okay, just do anything. Can you just not do anything for a while? And they go, oh, no.
It's hard.
I can't just go sit outside. I've got too much to do. I go, oh my gosh, okay.
I am there with all those people, because being outside, love. It's amazing. Yeah. It's incredible. But I'm usually out there. I'm thinking about something. I'm journaling on my phone. I'm listening to music. I'm listening to a podcast. I'm typing notes of things I need to be doing. And it's like, I'm not actually really receptive. I'm in this action-oriented mode, even though I feel like I'm receptive when I'm not. So just going and sitting. So now I'll go out to the beach without my phone. So there's no chance of any distraction other than my own mind and the world around me.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
Yep. I go on walks without my phone a lot. Yeah. And then I get back, they're like, why did you get back to me?
Sorry, unplugged.
I'm not on my phone all the time. All right.
Okay, Virgo.
Virgo. Speaking of the 6th house. Okay, so now we're going to go to Virgo. So you guys have Capricorn over your 5th house. A lot of Virgos are clear karma around friendships and making friends all the time and superficial relationships. I mean, everybody, I'm not blaming Virgo. It's just that they have Capricorn over their 5th house. So there's an attachment to friendships, and they tend to get in karmic friendships that get burned, or that, they play victim a little bit in these dynamics. And so now they're like releasing some sort of karmic patterns around making friends just for the sake of having friends, because they don't want to be alone. They have a hard time being alone, actually, weirdly enough. But so they're letting go of sort of attachments to friendships and having superficial relationships as a way to sort of make them feel like they've got control in their life, or that they're secure, or that they're okay. And then a lot of these relationships will burn them. They'll be victims. They'll be betrayed. And so in this full moon, it's like releasing a habit, a pattern of that. And now you are realizing that if you just let go and shall we say not behave from a fear-based way that creates your own problems and puts pressure on the friendships, and you just let the friendship have divine support free of you, let the ones that bubble to the top into the enlightened friendships, then those are the right ones. But you don't have to make it happen. You don't have to control it. You can be imperfect and flawed for it. So these are the friendships now that start to show up, or one that does, but can be from the past because of that retrograde happening in Saturn. And then you get into a creative project. It is also the house of entrepreneurial creativity, ideas outside the box, performing. So it's like, if you have planets there, then you could be, like, let's say you're an actress. Now you get auditions. Now you could have been really, really running after the wrong things, or the wrong type of acting, or because it's in your head, it's ego. It felt control. It felt the way it was going to work. And now all of a sudden something shows up because you've let go. that energy. You've allowed the flow. You let God bring it to you, the friendships or the creative projects or the audition or the opportunity for performing, because the fifth house is performance, it's the stage. It is also the house of entrepreneurial creativity with outside the box things. You may get suddenly an idea, or you start or entrepreneurial project now that you initiated with a friend now comes in, or creative writing project. A creative collaborative. You're going to have a destiny of a collaborations with friends or groups. Saturn is in your seventh house of relationships. That's interesting, isn't it? So it's like,
Very.
yeah. So you're being shown to be more spiritual in your unions. So and so it's making you deal with the fears that are causing you to get into relationships that are superficial, that are more karmic, that are more what you think. So they're heading into divine relationships, divine partnerships, and they're clearing a karmic pattern of forcing these situations.
Okay. So we have the night blooming Sirius for Virgos. And the night blooming Sirius is one of those take the leap towards your dreams cards. And in order to do that, it's leaning into and being able to embrace your shadow side and see whatever illusions might be there that you haven't been able to see before. And dissolving unconscious or subconscious limitations. And I feel like with Virgos, they are very practical headed, and sometimes that practicality can keep them from extending themselves beyond what they think they can achieve or what is possible. It's like, oh, well, this, we can put everything in these like practical little orders, collate all these things. But then when it comes to the possibility of it expanding beyond that, it's like, no, it doesn't really fit in my spreadsheet like that. So this is going to give them an opportunity to move beyond that, to take a fearless leap of faith towards whatever their goals and their dreams are. And that could relate to a project, but because you mentioned the seventh house too, Madeline, it could relate to a relationship as well.
Yeah, or a collaborative relationship project. And interesting, because that is the green is the Virgo color, so it's kind of like, I like that you're another thing you can say about Capricorn is it's controlling, but you also play it safe.
Yeah.
So in a way, and playing it safe is fear-based. So in a way, they're not playing it safe anymore. They're breaking out. They're going to bust out of their karmic wanting to play it safe with friendships or playing safe in that whole area of their life. That's perfect.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Well, it's also fun. I'm going to be with my daughter, who's a Virgo, on this full moon.
Oh,
so yeah, we'll just see how the night plays out. What sort of interesting things happen.
And Cancer is over their 11th house, so they're gonna see who their true, well, that's family, right? But also friends or groups of people that are like home, that are real family, that you're real around you. Okay, so now let's go to Libra.
Yep.
Cardinal. So you guys, you're going to be squared by this full moon. So your lives you're going to have shifts and changes in these cardinal points also. And but the moon is in your fourth house. So a living situation opens up, a new family. Again, this is you've learned a lesson around trying to force situations or force a family or force a home situation. Now you're letting go, surrendering, so the divine family can come in, or the relationship, because that is a relationship type axis. And then the career, the top of the house, top of the chart, you've got like the sun there, and it's like aligning you with an emotionally fulfilling, aligned career that emotionally fills your cup, that feels secure and safe. Again, it's spiritual, it's intuitive, it's an internal, the inside of you, what you want really on an internal level. And then we get creating a new structure. You could literally start building a new house, because I know some Libras who have planets there, like Saturn in their fourth house. So it's like they build things, they build houses. So you could literally build, like, get a new job to build a house. Um, you could just be building your own new house. But then we've got Saturn in your sixth. So it's like you're, again, this is all a spiritual transformation in the sense that you're no longer just working hard and making a family like Libras will, because they get on with, they know how to just make everybody happy and get along, they go along. So they can kind of make it kind of work with anybody. They can kind of fit and help fit. And they kind of can just choose this person to be the family person. We just choose you to be and it doesn't work. It's karma. So it's like they're trying to control it and make it through their will. It's all about self-will. It's like you're supposed to get out of self-will and into divine will. Let the universe's will play out here. So they've been in self-will and forcing it and making it try to be with this person or that person or this. And so now they're like, okay, well, I give up, letting go. And then you because it's a K2 part of the chart, which is like in the sky, which is about letting that go and letting God come in and do it. It's letting go, letting God energy. And it's like, wow, this is the family God wants for you. This is the more enlightened, the one that's going to work. And then this creates a new beginning in your 10th house of career or status. You get married. I know some Libras that might happen. And so you've got like this sun in your, so it's like things are lining up more, completely lining up more for this new chapter. And you're really letting go of this pattern of false living home. You even like buying places or living in situations that are not in alignment, that are karmic. You think you need to go there because the prices were good and it was a good place to go, but you didn't like it really. You just did it because it's where everybody's going or something. Well, now that's a karmic thing. It's like fear-based kind of. It's not following your intuitive, it's following like what everybody says in a way. So it's like you're going to let go of that property now, and now the new property comes in that is home, that feels like home. That's basically Libra are going home, finding home, stabilizing into the right relationship. This is so it lasts. So this is the end of a long journey where you just sabotaged the real things, the things that were right, and now you're putting them back into order. And with that Saturn in your sixth house, you need to change your day-to-day routines. You need to start being more spiritual practice, more spiritually aligned in your day-to-day routine, following not just being busy. Again, that's that theme where you just kind of, okay, let me hear it, let me see it, let me feel it. Stay low key and get out of busy frustration so that you can hear the guidance.
Well, I feel like the pink magnolia is an echo of that as well. The pink magnolia encourages Librans to value and to know what their own needs are instead of always other people's, to recognize their own worth, to recognize they're complete and whole and worthy in and of themselves. It's, and I love this. The message is take exquisite care of yourself. I don't know why that word exquisite is like.
That's what that Saturn in the sixth house is all about.
It's beautiful. Yeah. So the pink magnolia.
And that's that's like relationship. So there you are getting married.
It is, to me, it does carry an energy of partnership, of potential union, but it's like it's one, but yet there's two, it's like being, again, I keep hearing just be whole in and of yourself.
Yeah. And also with the two there, it's like the duality of the head and the heart,
Oh, true.
Yeah.
True.
There's options, that they or something.
They have options. All right, Scorpio.
So, okay, you guys have Capricorn over your third house. You guys have been learning, clearing karma, because remember, Pluto was all in here before, which is why this karma is over. I'm telling you, most people have got their karma cleared out by that Capricorn Pluto transit. There's still some to work on, but Pluto did a really good job. So in the third house, so it's all about communication, internal dialogue, how you speak to yourself, how you communicate in a way that makes your life better or worse. So you're trying to manipulate. It tend to be a manipulative energy through communication, trying to make things right. And they don't feel like they are. They think they're just trying to avoid drama or conflict because they just have a dramatic, Scorpios are drama. So it's like they try to, what happens is when they learn how to create an internal dialogue that calms them down, they can now then they can communicate. So they're learning. So this is like the fruitions of having learned a lesson around controlling and letting go. Again, the same theme. And this is around people that are around you on a day-to-day, siblings, neighbors, and just communication. So a full moon there could be you have a whole, you move in other part of your chart, you start a relationship, you have a whole new bunch of people around you, sibling, if you could have like something, a full moon situation happen with neighbors where you get new neighbors, but also siblings, something new involving a sibling, a karmic issue around a sibling. You could have karma with a sibling that now gets cleared up through communication, through talking it out reasonably. And then with Saturn in your 5th house, you're learning the spiritual friendships, how to relate, how to find the difference between the people that are soul connected to you rather than just because that Pisces is again that sort of victim, that sort of karmic relationship. So you break patterns of friendships that are not supportive, basically, and then you become full moon. You surround yourself now. You've cleared karma with people you can be honest with, people you can really talk to, the real people that are supposed to be in your life. You can always be honest with, but the problem is that they're trying to control the people in their lives by through their manipulative communication. So it's like now they let go, and then they see who falls away and who falls up, which is these are the people you can still be honest with, and they stay. Those are your real people. You don't have to control it. So yeah, I think that's good. I don't need to keep
covers it. So we have the lilac for Scorpio, and what's interesting to me about this flower, this feels like a really sweet, innocent flower, and I don't think of Scorpio as sweet or innocent at all.
I don't either.
It's like the complete opposite of it. But this flower, the lilac, reminds Scorpios to be flexible, to be able to adapt to the changes that might be occurring in your life. Non-attachment to all areas of your life, and to let go of control. And in the letting go of the control, you open yourself up to bigger and better opportunities. That reminds me of the 5th house in the Saturn in the 5th house for Scorpio. It's that it is the potential for creative projects that could have a far-reaching effect, that if you let go of control, you allow life to flow, you may find opportunities that really have a big foundational impact on your life. I feel like that's true for me, which is why this I found very, very interesting.
Yeah,
energetically speaking.
interesting. Yeah, because that Pisces over the 5th house really is to sort of allow the creative juices to flow rather than try to mentally produce them.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Very nice. Very good. Okay. Sagittarius. Jupiter is finally out of combustion, so Saggies are back to life. And so this full moon is hitting in your 2nd house, very nice, and 8th house assets. So we're getting some kind of a new financial beginning, this is nice, very nice. So some kind of karma was cleared for Sagittarians, where they're always, they've got Capricorn over their 2nd house, so they're always sort of karmically going in karmic work, karmic jobs, things that creates in your head what you think is going to make the money, what you think is going to create the security, and the pushing it and the forcing it, working really, really, really hard. My ex-husband was Saggy Sun and Cap rising, so he was like super hard, workaholic-y.
Mm.
So it's kind of karma. They have a lot of karma around money and like fear-based, not trusting, thinking that their survival is through hard work. Again, that energy of working really, really hard with that second house. Also, there's low self-esteem. They're working against low belief in the self. Usually Jupiter ruled people don't believe in, they have to learn how to believe in themselves. So some sort of karma is cleared here for Capricorn in their finance, and Sagittarius in their money houses, in their money and in energy field, where they let go and let God. They stop trying to, it's kind of like, oh, I give up. I screwed up, I failed, forget it. I can't do it. And then with the 8th house, there's some sort of empathy or government tax issues. And so there's a solution here, which is spiritual, gone spiritual around some sort of tax trauma or joint resources, joint money, fears. The sun is illuminating some kind of fear. And then they have Saturn over their 4th house. So it's kind of like, family related, stability. It's Cancer. The 4th house is Cancer. It's home and living, because the Sagittarius wants to create home and living security. But they have Pisces, so they have got karma there, you know. So it's sort of like trying to force the finances, but to secure a living situation. But the thing is that the Saturn there is going to let you align through spirituality, through using your inner self, through finding home within, for finding security within, and then letting go. And then the fear showing up there in that 8th house, really letting that go and stopping hard working to eradicate your fear of money. That makes sense. So in other words, fears are going to show up, but a solution comes in that shows you don't have to just go bazonkers trying to make money to offset this fear. And then there's a spiritual solution with the home situation. For instance, let me give you an example. A Sagittarius living in a situation they don't like. I know one that is, he has to share a home with these people. But now something opens up in your finances that enables you to go where you're spiritually more aligned, a home that is more your soul connection, your true home. You can afford it now, or you move because of this. So it is a job opening up. Full moon in the second house brings a new way of income, a new way of earning money. It's Saturn, so it's hard work. It's your career. It is a new career, kind of a less karmic based, more enlightened, spiritually aligned. Go ahead.
Okay, so we have the white water lily. Let me see if I can tip it so you can see it more clearly. And this card activates awareness. The message is sharpen your senses. One of the keynotes for this that I think is so perfect for Sagittarius is it transforms ordinary perception into the magic of the world around them. And this even reminds me of that. It's like this reaching out for all of the possibilities that exist for them. They also feel more of a connection to other people. So that is the white water lily.
Well, that's a fire sign energy, and there they are. Sagittarians always do better when they use their intuition, their gut, following the fire. And then, gosh, you said something that was interesting, or I just thought of something really interesting. So yeah, they're following they're low self-esteem, because that Capricorn, wherever Capricorn is, we have esteem issues. So it's like they're raising their self-esteem, and this new moon, full moon, shows you what this better self-esteem is bringing you financially. And it's more involved with your inspiration, creative. And also the second house is very artistic and creative too.
All right.
Perfection. All right, moving along. We're going to go to Capricorn. So there you go, Capricorn, in your first house. You're letting go of control. You're surrendering. Oh my gosh, I know a Capricorn rising who said, I need help. I need help. I can't control everything. I can't do it all by myself. I need God. It's let go, let God. It's like, it's the help me. And then you've got Cancer over your 7th house, all that. So it's a relationship access. You've got Saturn over your 3rd house. So it's a lot about your inner dialogue, your thinking, Capricorn, or having a restructuring of their attitude, their mentalities. And then they're kind of like clearing a karmic pattern that where they enslave. Here's the thing that Capricorn does, they create their own karma by enslaving themselves. They literally like become this boss to themselves, and then they become their workhorse. They're the workhorse and they're slogging this workhorse. They create karma to themselves. So now there's not doing that anymore. They're going, you know what? I need help and I need divine assistance. I'm not a slog horse. This horse cannot be slogged anymore. It is collapsing. And so now you get this new beginning, this new way of making money, this new stability. And what you were saying about that Saturn keeps us okay. It may hold back from things, but it doesn't deny us. It won't kill us. And so you're letting go and letting God, and Capricorn is everywhere, their whole life, right? They're just, I give up. I'm going in and I'm going to be vulnerable and I'm going to be who I really am, which isn't perfect, which isn't the king of the cat, which I'm, and I have flaws. I give up, I surrender, I let go. And then what happens? God comes in and saves you. Or whatever. I'm not religious, but it's just an easy word. But the universe comes in and steps in and saves your butt. And then guess what you discover? You have a spiritual awakening because you realize all this life I'm trying to pull all the bags, trying to help my horse, my donkey's got tons of bundles on it. We're going up the hill and I'm slogging it and I'm slogging me, and then we're like, oh really? I could have just handed all this over and the universe would take me up the hill, So that's that thing for Capricorn. So
Well, the rhododendron is telling Capricorns, be kind to yourself, have some compassion. There's a steadiness to it, an equanimity, the head and the heart being in tune with one another. And then also because you mentioned something about, the sun is in the 7th. There's also it strengthens relationships where there's a feeling of being valued and loved and included. So this feels so incredibly aligned and supportive for Capricorn.
Yeah, I think this Capricorn Cancer axis is a lot of relationships coming in for Cancers and Capricorns, Aries and Libras in those sections.
Interesting.
Virgo too, I guess, that 5th house, but yeah.
Yeah. Very, very cool. All right. Aquarius.
Aquarius, we're making moves. We're only at 1 hour and 43 minutes. Okay.
I know. Look at us.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys have Capricorn over your 12th house. Not easy. That's tough. But Aquarians do very well with it. They get through it all. They are ruled by Saturn still. So yeah, this is definitely the results, the gift. They've got Pluto in their 1st house, but it's a much lighter energy. It's less karmic. It's about taking their power back, being in their power. And so with Capricorn over their 9th house, this full moon is the resolve of some sort of karma clearing, fear-based energy from trauma, past life. It could be a past life relationship coming in because the moon there in your 12th house can sometimes be the show up of that. But mostly you're seeing the resolve and the new beginnings of cleared karma. And so that's like really it's a dream. It's why you came here. It's a big one. It's inside your soul. It's like it's kind of reaching that top of that mountain in a way. And they have Saturn. It's really great for them actually. And it also could be travel, long distance travel, but they've got Saturn in their 2nd house. So they're stopping motivating to make money again through Pisces is a bit fear-based, karmic or victimy, and so now they're stepping into a spiritually more aligned, which is in their soul, which is a destiny that's like, it's really a nice full moon actually for Aquarius, I have to say. And they are going to be shifting day to day. They've got in Cancer, home, taking care of themselves more. Their karma could involve not taking care of themselves. And that's a wide range of things, can be from stressing out or not eating right or drinking alcohol, or just something can be very much changed during this, because something becomes spiritually solid and feel confident for the long haul because of this full moon. So you relax and now you can really take better care of yourself. And you do want to do that because that Aquarians have that access, so they're going to have karma playing out about how they take care of themselves. My mother was a Aquarius sun, and she really had a lot of karma on how she took care of herself. She didn't take care of herself. So yeah, what do you get?
All right. So we have the mountain laurel for Aquarius. And this basically will activate confidence, mental freedom, feeling comfortable with themselves, and then also relaxing no matter what situation you're in. So this could, like you said, this is some 12th house energy.
Yeah, deep.
So there might be some areas where it's an uncomfortable situation, and to find a way to relax into whatever is coming up, and to feel okay with yourself and know whatever's happening right now will pass in time, and you will be stronger. You will, I mean, this is Saturn in the second house. So it's like the way you value yourself will change. The value that you receive from the world will change. So hang in there, just hang in there a little longer.
Yes. And
Yeah.
also that being very Jupiter energy because it's purple. So it really is like their Saturn being in their sixth house, in their second house. It's kind of like these energy of Jupiter, which is faith, you know,
Yeah.
belief in themselves, belief in
Belief. Just,
anyway.
and breathe. Believe and breathe.
All right, Pisces, you have Saturn in your first house. You guys are maturing. It's not easy. It can get depressing. You can get in a funk with Saturn in your first house, but and like shame and feeling like you haven't been good enough or done well enough. But Saturn is just saying it's okay. That was all there so that you would learn, so that you would develop that, you become better at it. And so this full moon is out. Pisces rising. Oh my gosh. They have so much karma playing around that social media, that networking, that friends group, tribe. I see it all the time when I deal with Pisces rising. They've always got issues and problems with people that they don't know very close, but that are on the outside. And they worry about what they think of them, and did they screw up their relationship? And I know many who go through this, and it's karma around the 11th house, which is you're supposed to let go of trying to control what people think of you. You're supposed to let go of control of how people see you. And instead, you're supposed to be your authentic self, but you think that your security and your finances are based on word of mouth connect, because a lot of people do get their career, and I'm all word of mouth mostly.
Yeah.
I do stuff online, but I'm mostly just word of mouth. So it's like, so they try to control that. They think their success is dependent on that, when really their success and their security is more dependent on their authenticity, which is Cancer, and that's in their 5th house, which is around their authentic friends, people that are real to be creative with, that they can be who they really are with their home, because Cancer is where we make home. It feels like home, the friends that are home, and not to try to. But you are, because Capricorn is over your 11th house, you are still supposed to have work involved with creative people and other tribes. There is, and social media and getting out there. So you have to get over it. You have to get over what people think. You have to let that go. And then trust that who you appear to be was who God created you to be, so that the success or the divine, shall we say, let the divine come in and guide you around this, and let the divine show you where your success is around this, rather than doing it out of a fear base, we can use me for an example. I have a Pisces moon, and my Instagram feed, I mean, I try to put stuff out there, and I think I know what I should be doing on it. And it's like, it's been stuck at a certain, amount of followers forever. And I just sort of slack off on it, and then the followers drop away, and I'm like, oh no, I should keep going. I got to keep this going. And then I just like let go, like, who cares? It's, I'm really just doing my social media stuff for my clients because they like to be up on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But, so that Pisces energy wants to kind of control that 11th house, and you just have to let it go and let spirit run the show there, because that's what we're doing here with that Capricorn. It's the let go, let God. It's why with 12-step programs, because it's all about Capricorn. That it's addictive energy. So you have to let go, not be obsessive about it, and just let it go and let it be what it is. accept the failure about it, because it's okay, because divine, if you can do that, then you're not trying to control it. Let God come in and control it. So Pisces are going through, they've got Saturn on their ascendant, so there's a lot of work. This is a very big time for Pisces. They're changing a lot of ingrained karma around not believing in themselves enough. So yeah, I feel that.
All right. Well,
Wow.
this seconds it, I think, what you were just saying, the
Yeah.
peach blossom, because this magnifies softness and tenderness towards yourself and others, but yourself, I think, is the main focus.
Yeah.
It activates youthfulness and vitality. And it's being able to simultaneously hold an awareness of your needs and somebody else's. So you're aware of what the other person needs, but you're not necessarily going to change anything for yourself or feel like you have to worry about or accommodate somebody else's needs. I mean, I feel like that very much connects with the 11th house that you were talking about, Madeline, with feeling like they have to be something for somebody else in their friends groups, or, you know, somebody on the periphery is not really understanding them or, you know, supporting whatever their mission is. It's like, it's not really about that. It's how can you support the people that, like your followers on social, for instance, while still honoring your own needs and making sure your needs are first and foremost. So,
Yes.
you know, Madeline, you posting the things that you feel like, oh, my people would be, this is something that I think they would need to know. Like, this seems important. And posting it for that reason, not because you want more followers.
Right. Exactly. And also, like, part of it though for Pisces is just knowing what to post. That's going to be it's like, I don't care about having more followers. I just don't want it just to be like falling, like going away, like dissolving, like falling apart. Like, you know, like you got
Well, I think that's
going. You got to keep that pedal bike going, you know, and you're just like, oh, what do I post? But I think what you're saying is, instead of posting what I think people want or see, because I do these card reads and I'm sitting here, do people want me to do the card reading? Should I do? I guess I'm to go with my message would be to go what I intuitively feel like posting.
Yes.
Would be the Piscean approach, would be the more spiritual approach to it. And not for what happens left or right, and just go, this is what I feel like posting. Let it be what it is. Let it be what it is.
Well, yes, that. And, you know, I also feel like it's not always, I mean, it can be that simple and you can try it out and see how it goes. But I also know that in the human design system, you're a projector.
I know.
And projectors need to wait for the invitation.
I know.
So if you're posting stuff just to post it, then that may not be a useful use of your energy.
It is a challenge for projector social media stuff. It really is. And it's like, well, how do you do it then as a projector? I follow a bunch of projector people that were like, we're not supposed to be busy. We're not supposed to, like, you know, start things. So that's part of the problem.
Well,
but I don't really know how projectors are supposed to post on social media.
I mean, I guess like the way I would interpret all of what I know of you and then the energy you're talking about, is that what are people asking you when you're out and about? What do people want to know? And if you are following the invitation of the questions that people are asking, then I feel like you're going to be on track. And that may change over time, but at least for now, you know, let's just say a lot of people want to know, you know, they're curious about Saturn. So maybe some more posts about Saturn, or maybe they're curious about, you know, how this eclipse energy is going to carry over from April till October. You know, what to be on the lookout in the meanwhile, you know, talk about that. I mean, I'm making this up, but I'm just saying.
It's such a good idea. I'm going to take a little notebook, and when I hang out with people, I'm going to write them down.
Yes. Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah. I feel like that's always the way, because it's not, at least in the work that I do, I feel like each one of these systems that I'm familiar with, and there's so many out there.
Oh, they're all helpful.
They're all helpful in some way, because it just can refine information in a way that you can access it and utilize it in your life that supports whatever it is that you're attempting to do, put out into the world, engage in relationship, whatever it is, it's supportive.
All right, that's a great idea.
So that might be helpful for other projectors out there. So
Yeah, thanks.
I guess the main gist of this moon cycle for everybody is let go, trust,
Try not to control it.
yeah, and be aware that this cycle is going to have an impact on your future, your mission. You know, really go back and reflect on January 11th, what was happening around that time. Did you set intentions? If you did the ritual, go back and follow through. Those on my email list. If you want to be on the email list, I send lots of extra little goodies there. There's some nugget that you can take away from it and just flow with the emotions of what's coming up for you, and enjoy the summer solstice.
Yes.
That's pretty great. You were barely touched on it, but yeah, it's a good one.
We didn't get into that. There's so much to say, but the summer solstice is like that is the opposite of that winter solstice. And it's like the winter solstice is the end of this year. Well, the sun is the smallest, and then is in, quiet for three days. It stays in this most lightest, less amount of sunlight, as it were, the shortest day. And now we have the longest day. So it's kind of like we go from yang when it becomes reborn, and then we go now into the yin energy of the year, which is receiving. Yang is work, action. Now we go into so that helps too.
That'll feel good to somebody that's listening. Let me see if anyone has any comments or questions. Nope. Still a few people on, so thank you for those who are still with us and watching. We appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment, share. It really helps us out, and we hope this is helpful to you. And we will see you here. We don't have a date yet, but in a couple of weeks with the Cancer new moon astrological forecast, cosmic chat, just for you from us.
Thanks for being with us and watching, and give us likes.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Bye.
Okay. Not too bad. We finished before 5.